Good evening, everybody. I'm Dave Morris. It's Monday, August 26th. Coming up in today's edition of The Play, the Oklahoma City School Board has named an interim superintendent. Looks like more construction in Norman, but why city and university officials are at odds over the latest project. And first, we're learning more about the teens accused in the death of Christopher Lane. And here to tell us more about these stories, Nick Tragakis from the Oklahoma's newsroom. Nick, our Nolan Clay has been following up on this story out of Duncan, and what have we learned?
Yeah, Nolan got on the phone today with an attorney who's representing the guy who the authorities say is a shooter in this case, and that's Chancey Luna. What Luna's attorney told Nolan was that, hey, my client did not fire the fatal shot, and he was not involved in the shooting. Now, it's kind of vague. It leaves a little bit to your own interpretation there, so Nolan's going to dig into that and find out kind of where that goes. What Nolan also found out today was that these suspects have past juvenile criminal records. They have complaints ranging from drug possession to threatening violence to assault and battery. So these are people that what we're finding out is that the law enforcement in Duncan were familiar with before this shooting.
It's a story that's pretty complex. There's a lot of continuing coverage that can be found on newsok.com, from affidavits to the 911 calls to the latest information that'll be updated as soon as we get it. The Oklahoma City School Board met this morning, and what happened there?
This was maybe the worst kept secret in the Oklahoma City School Board. Our Tim Willard, who's covering the education beat, had actually reported at this time last week that Oklahoma Commerce Secretary Dave Lopez was going to be named the interim superintendent of the Oklahoma City School District, and that happened today. The school board held a meeting and voted to confirm Lopez as the interim superintendent. He's going to take the post for a year. He confirmed that this is definitely an interim thing. I plan to fully retire and go to my own private life after the year is up. The school board, meanwhile, confirmed that they've hired a search firm and they're going to be conducting a national search to find Lopez's replacement in a year.
Nick, is there a definite timeline on this, or if they find somebody, perhaps they hire that in the meantime?
I think it's definitely a situation where the school board would be ready to strike if necessary and make that hire to get the full-time guy in there. And maybe you could see Lopez get his retirement wish a little bit sooner than a year's time.
There you have it. Well, hey, one of the wishes of a lot of fans around here is football season is upon us. Norman and University of Oklahoma officials agree that improving Lindsey Street and fixing that drainage problem is a priority, but they disagree on how to do it.
Yeah, and if you've been to Norman, especially on a football Saturday, you know what a nightmare that traveling on the Lindsey can be, and really outside of football too. It's one of the most heavily traveled roads in Norman. Both the city leaders and school leaders agree that they need to get it fixed. Now they've got different plans for how they want to handle it. The city is suggesting adding more lanes and widening the road to make it capable of handling more traffic. The school is actually talking about making it into a boulevard with roundabouts that would slow traffic down and potentially scare people away from using it and force them to other routes. Different sides of the coin there, and they're going to have a meeting, city council leaders will, tomorrow on Tuesday, where they're going to kind of hash out the plan a little bit more, and we'll have our reporter Jane Cannon following the meeting and trying to figure out what they're going to do.
All right, Nick, thanks for your time today.
Sure.
Kickoff in Norman on Saturday, by the way, it's 6 p.m. These stories and more, upcoming editions of The Oklahoman and on newsok.com. Have a great evening, everybody.